Yeah, like in the beginning, copywriting, this word confused me because I was like, you want me to copy someone else's writing? When a slogan is only 3 words, you just remember it. No one really said, I want to buy an iPhone because it has this, whatever, 4.2 millimeter camera lens.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about copywriting.
Yeah, copywriting, one of my favorite topics. One of the hardest things to do is copywriting in an effective way. So I like to get into this topic because so many people do it in different ways, especially different from my copywriting philosophy.
Before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about, can you just briefly explain what copywriting is in layman's term?
Yeah, like in the beginning, copywriting, this word confused me because I was like, you want me to copy someone else's writing? And then I realized, like early in my career, that it's just a way of writing English or any language in a marketing style. So writing for marketing could be called copywriting,
Copywriting,
or
writing for marketing.
writing for advertising.
All
Yeah.
right.
So the greatest copywriter who ever lived was David Ogilvy, and now everyone knows the Ogilvy agency is like the biggest marketing agency in the world, with like 200 offices around the world. So that just goes to show the importance of copywriting because David Ogilvy built his entire empire based on copywriting for ads, like back in the 1960s and 70s.
I did not know that,
Yeah,
but I do know the company Ogilvy.
yeah, Ogilvy.
Wow.
You have to know that.
Okay. Um, as far as copywriting, how is it important for brands specifically?
Yeah, well, I mean, the copywriting is a language that the brands speak. So the visual part is one language, but it's kind of hard to just have visuals without the copy because the copy can augment the visuals, and the visuals can augment the copy, and together these work as it's together these things can supercharge your message. So, for example, it's just a slogan that could stick in your mind could be responsible for millions of dollars in sales. Like the Nike slogan, just do it. I think that inspired a lot of people to get off their butt, get off the sofa and go
I did too.
running.
Yeah.
But they couldn't go running without buying running shoes. So then they bought Nike running shoes because Nike told them to just do it. Right? So it's a huge importance. There's a huge importance on copywriting to build brands, to launch ad campaigns, to do any kind of marketing. And most people think it's easy, but it's actually the hardest thing to do to get it right because you have to have a understanding of how human psychology works and what's going to inspire people, what language inspires people.
How do you think tech companies are using copywriting in their brands?
If you look at like the U.S. tech companies, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, they obviously employ people who have a deep understanding of marketing copywriting because a lot of their campaigns are very effective. If you look at Apple right now on their website, they always launch a new product with the images and the slogan. And normally Apple's slogans are just like fantastic, right? They normally they're 1 word, 2 words, sometimes 3 words maximum. And so when a slogan is only 3 words, you just remember it and it's powerful. And I think the best tech copywriting follows this kind of formula where they use just a very short slogan and they talk about how this product can make your life better. And some of the more like so-so copywriting goes deep into features and benefits and things. It's kind of trying to persuade a little bit too much, whereas it should just kind of tell you right away like how how this product is gonna change your life.
What are the three most important things when it comes to writing your brand slogan, right?
Okay, 3 most important things when writing a brand slogan or a product slogan. Um, Keep it short. So when it's short, people remember it. Include a benefit in there. So sometimes a slogan can sound catchy and short, but it forgets to remind us what's the benefit For example, how like tell us in a very short way how this product makes your life better. Number three, keep it consistent with the brand values. A slogan can get carried away and talk about something that's not related to the brand, and that could actually hurt the brand. But if you have a strong kind of like a tone of voice set, established tone of voice in your brand, make sure your slogan follows that, and then that slogan can actually keep building up your brand over time.
And so, how do you think brands would determine their tone, their mood, and translate that into copywriting for their slogan?
Brands need to go through a brand identity process where they actually figure out not only their logo and their colors and their style, but also their tone of voice. Because not every tone of voice is suitable for every brand. So, for example, if you're selling a Rolls Royce, a very expensive car, there's a certain tone of voice that you wouldn't use when you're selling, a pair of Nikes. And so I think there has to be a certain self-awareness of your customer base, your product, who it's for, how it's positioned, and then the brand tone, the tone of voice will come from that. And so it's very important for brands to undergo this process, and it's not only a one-time thing because brands evolve, companies evolve, products change, and sometimes they need to go through this process, this brand identity process, and verbal identity process every few years. Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest difference between a brand that you would remember when you see it for the first time and the brand that you wouldn't really remember?
Well, you just said brands are like people, right? They have personalities. So what's the difference between a person you remember and a person you just kind of met and forgot about them? And normally it's things like sense of humor, a certain charm. I think brands and people are not all that different because people make brands as a reflection of their own values. And so all of the things that make a person memorable, we could bring that into the brand building process. So a memorable brand stands for something, which means they have to reject some other people, a certain group. So basically, a brand cannot be for everybody. And I think that's one mistake that a lot of brands make because they think more people, more market share. But the strongest brands are definitely rejecting certain groups of people that are not part of that those values.
What do you think are some common mistakes that brands make when it comes to copywriting?
I think a lot of copywriting mistakes can be categorized in two ways. One way is kind of being a little bit too dry and just focusing on, so what is the latest tech features, what are the specs, what are the benefits of these features, and it kind of looks a little bit too academic and dry. It's not memorable, and no one really said I want to buy an iPhone because it has this whatever 4.2 millimeter camera lens. No one ever said that. They just said I want to buy the iPhone because I like Apple. Most people are just like, I like Apple. So to be a little bit too focusing on the data in the copywriting is a mistake. And then the other mistake I've seen is people who go the opposite direction, which is they try to make the copywriting a little bit too quirky, funny. They're going for that memorable angle, but they kind of like went too far. And it kind of reminds you of like one of your friends who's always goofing around and you can't take them seriously. And so some brands cannot be taken seriously when their copywriting is a little bit too sarcastic, too many jokes, too many like references that not everybody understands. I think the best way forward is to be very, very direct in your copywriting, very direct about how this product is going to make your life better.
And obviously SEO is important in copywriting as well, right? So how do you combine that SEO? How do you maintain SEO and also have this genuine personality kind of tone in your copywriting?
Yeah, well, for SEO, what SEO really cares about is content quality and keywords. And so to combine your tone of voice, your brand voice, into your blog content or into your website content is just something that should come natural. Because if you're going to write a technical blog post and your tone of voice is not very technical in nature, then there's going to be a disconnect. I think you can get very technical no matter what your brand voice is, but you definitely need to edit any content in a way that matches your brand voice.
So does it make it easier for you to do copywriting for brands with stronger brand identity and stronger branding more than, brands that are not that strong in that area?
Yeah, I write a lot for Microsoft right now, and they have a very specific tone of voice. And it's very easy to send them an article and get it approved by the client, because all I need to do is read what they've published before and copy that as much as possible. And it's not really about copying anything, but it's more about aligning with their brand voice. Other clients have not established a brand voice yet, just because it's not their priority yet. And so with those clients, we kind of have a little bit of freedom to slowly start generating a certain brand voice for them. So it's just, I won't say it's harder or easier, but it's just a different approach when it's an established company or kind of like a Taiwanese manufacturing company that's just kicking off their marketing.
To those tech companies that are building their brand, how would you give them a structure to do their own copywriting?
Well, we definitely have to look at the specs, right? Look at the latest innovation in those products. Understand what those specs mean, because some of them can be very obscure. Once you have an understanding of what those specs mean, then it's about connecting it to what the customer's end goal is. So, for example, if you're writing about a gaming mouse, and so the customer wants to win the game, that's his goal. He's buying this fancy mouse, which might cost over $100 because it could give him a slight edge over while he's doing online gaming. And so all of these things like extra sensitivity, materials, size of the mouse, colors, things like that, you would have to tie it back to what he wants to do. So I'd probably write something like destroy your opponent with a higher sensitivity in this mouse, or win the game with this, through this. So you start out with the end goal of the customer, win the game, destroy your opponent, or become a champion. Then you say through what is the way that they can win, and there should be some tech benefit in there. And that should actually function on its own. So you could even have a slogan that just says destroy your opponents, and then under that there might be a subtitle that says this has higher sensitivity or better materials or whatever. So it's just about connecting it with your customer's end goal and understanding your customers very well.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty much it, guys. Tech copywriting for brands. This is Michael. I'm Chris. Modular Mindset. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next one.